Hello class of EDL 850, this is Nelson Rush with Module 13, Tort Liability. Let's look at what tort liability is. Well, it's the legal premise that individuals are liable for the consequences of their own actions, or lack of, when something results in injury to others. In the classroom, this would probably be the most common area of law that a teacher could be subject to for personal liability. Now, the first case I'd like to consider is the Gebster versus Lago Vista Independent School back in '98. In this case, there was alleged sexual harassment between a teacher and a student. The Supreme Court determined that liability could be imposed on a school official should somebody with minimum authority deliberately be indifferent to the harassment. While the Supreme Court did conclude that the school could be liable, the case later went on to find that the school was not. If this was projected on my school, given the sensitive culture in which I work, this would probably most likely result in immediate suspension of staff during the investigation and an overhaul of school practice to ensure that something like this doesn't happen again. For me as an administrator, I'd like to see professional development be implemented on a greater level, which helps inform staff on what constitutes the boundaries of sexual harassment and train administrators on how to better support students and staff should concerns arise. I think this would help create a system of behavior and reporting that would ensure student safety and also appropriate staff actions. Now, for Davis versus Monroe County Board of Education back in '99, this was a case in which the school board, since it received federal funds, could be held responsible for student-to-student harassment should there be, again, deliberate indifference. However, this case later went on to help set up a five-part evaluation or five-part test to determine public schools liability, in which case a student might be a member of a protected class, the peer harassment might be based upon that class, the harassment was severe, pervasive, or objectively offensive. The school officials had knowledge of this, and the school was deliberately indifferent to the harassment. For my school, this would probably result in a more robust planning against bullying and student-to-student harassment. However, I will say my school has a really strong anti-bullying campaign in place to disrupt bullying culture, which involves peer mentors, peer bully blockers, secret counseling sessions, secret reporting, and proactive measures across our school. And this would help create a system for behavioral reporting, again, to ensure safety of students and appropriate staff actions. Tinker versus the Des Moines Independent School District back in '69, this is a classic case that revolves around students' right to free speech. In this case, we had students wearing black armbands to protest the Vietnam War, and the school tried to disrupt this by banning the black armbands and working against students organizing. However, it was determined that there was an absence of any kind of facts from the school that kind of forecasted substantial disruption to the educational process, and it was found to be unconstitutional to deny the students' right to expression and free speech. For my school, I think this would probably result in the school board reevaluating dress code policies and student code of conduct, not necessarily to bar students from free speech, but since we do have a lot of these unifying practices in place, such as dress code policies, I think this would probably be done to help reevaluate and prevent issues where the school could be adversarial to students' best interests. I would definitely put together a subcommittee of student affairs team that already exists, but in this sense we would be looking at student concerns and need for expression, since it is very important. We would definitely like to see professional ethics guiding staff to properly engage with students in dialogue and encourage them towards appropriate, safe, and empowering expression, rather than a situation where the school is against students. Back in TK and SK versus the New York City Department of Education back in 2011. This was a situation, again, that revolved around peer-to-peer harassment, in which a special needs student was basically being bullied due to their disability. Now, in this case, if we applied it to my school again, it's another one of those where it would really force the school to double its efforts on bullying and student-to-student harassment. However, since the school works so hard to disrupting this, this is a major focal point of our work. I think a lot of great measures are already in place, but again, I think it could eventually be really important for the school to create a better system for student behavior and reporting that definitely ensures the safety of students and, again, staff actions. Now, the final case I'd like to look at is the Gendelman versus the Glenbrook North High School back in 2003. This is a pretty well-seen case in which there were a number of students that were eventually hospitalized due to a hazing event. And then a number of students faced expulsion and were not allowed to participate in graduation, even though they were seniors. This discipline was basically set on the fact that the school district had prohibition against secret societies, even though everybody knew this is something that happened pretty much every year. Now, I think if we applied this towards my school, this would definitely force the school to review policies and plans that are supposed to take measures against bullying and to review staff implications in turning blind eyes to such situations. I think better professional development could be implemented in which staff are better able to identify harmful norms that do persist in the school and create or support those negative student interactions. I think there's a lot of things that could happen, not just at my school, but many schools, just that become normalized, and taking another look at those and really critiquing why norms persist is important. And again, creating a system that ensures safety and reporting. Thank you for joining me today and listening to the different cases that I presented. I look forward to reading and seeing everybody else's presentations. Thank you so much.